Hi and Assalamualaikum to everyone who are with me today for SITEC e-commerce class live streaming. Okay, my name is Salman and I am the e-commerce program manager at SITEC. And for today's live streaming session, we are going to talk about the topic of EC 203, Google Analytics and online traffic. Okay, so this topic is actually the last topic on the SITEC e-commerce module 2, e-commerce process. And after this, we will go to our next module, digital marketing module. Okay, and for your information, this e-commerce live streaming is brought to you by Selangor State Government through SITEC. Okay, but before I invite our speaker inside, if you guys are here with me today, watching this live, so I think we have about 100 audience right now. So can you comment hi and everything at the comment so that I know that you guys are with me. Oh, I saw some comment. Sanjay Kumar, good morning. Yes, good morning. Kang Sun So, IP Law here and Jedimas with everybody. Happy to see you here. Hi Kang Sun. Hi Louis Tan. Okay. So, all right, for those who just joined our SITEC e-commerce live streaming programs this morning, I need your help to share this live streaming on your Facebook page so that your friends and family can be benefit from this live streaming session. Okay, and if you have any questions throughout the session later, you can always ask in the comment section and I will select the relevant question and during our Q&A at the end of the session later. Okay, so we have an interesting topic to share this morning with everyone, which is Google Analytics and online traffic. So, and with me this morning, speaker first, Ashley Ong, founder and chief consultant of Super Anium, and speaker number 2 is Danisha Tiruma, insights specialist from Maxis e-commerce and retail. Okay, so now can we invite both of them to the screen? Yes, hello, hi Ashley, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi, morning.
Okay, so how was it? How's everything? Very good?
All good.
So I think last weekend we had a very long weekend because yesterday was a public holiday. So today, right after public holiday, we'll start our first session after Raya. Okay?
All right.
So before we start, I'll need Ashley and Danisha to introduce themselves and also a little bit of background of their company. Ashley, can you go first?
Yes, sure. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Ashley. I'm a chief consultant and also a founder of Superanium. Oops, what happened to my camera?
Okay.
But anyway, I'm a digital marketing consultant and also a trainer. I was working with Google Malaysia in the marketing team, and right now I'm also a Google Ads trainer. And I'm actually founded my company called Superanium, where we actually help businesses to generate leads and sales through the digital marketing strategies. Yeah, so that's about me. Over to you, Danisha.
Yeah, Danisha, your turn.
Hi everyone. So I'm Danisha. I'm currently an insight specialist at Maxis e-commerce and retail. So I've been with Maxis e-commerce and retail for over 2 years now, where my day-to-day mainly involves insights and analytics for our clients. So we do reporting and things like that. In terms of our offering, Maxis e-commerce and retail is our end-to-end solution provider for Malaysian SMEs. So we help your business go online. We can develop web store for you. We do digital marketing. We have analytics offerings, and then even over to your other operation systems as well. We can help you with your point of sales in your offline or online, as well as other solutions like warehouse management system, for example.
All right. Thank you, Ashley and Danisha. I am very excited because today we have one speaker actually working with Google Malaysia, and the other one is from Maxis e-commerce and retail. So they are very big brands. And so for those who just joined our session, so this morning, we'll talk about Google Analytics and also online traffic. Okay, so I'm going to remove both Ashley and Danisha first, and then I'll just share something, and then we'll invite you again in 2 minutes. Okay?
Sure.
All right. Okay, so before we start, I would like to welcome all our viewers to SITEC live streaming. Thank you for your support, and please help me to share about this event, this e-commerce class on your Facebook page. Okay, so that everyone, family, friends can be benefit from this. Okay, so today, if we look at the topic of Google Analytics and online traffic, so Google Analytics is one of the most popular digital analytics software. Okay, and of course, online traffic refers to web users who visit a website. So if you are running an e-commerce business or you are planning to run an e-commerce business, you need to know who is your customer, where are your customer coming from. So this is all from online traffic. And so today we will have Ashley and also Danisha will talk about Google Analytics and online traffic. Actually, Ashley will talk about online traffic first, and then come up with, and then after that follow with Danisha will talk about Google Analytics. Okay, all right. For those who just joined our SITEC e-commerce live streaming session this morning, I need your help. Okay, again to share this live session. Okay, if you have any question later, you can ask through the comment. I will just select whichever is relevant. Then we will answer during Q&A session later. Okay, right. Without further ado, I'm gonna invite again Ashley. Okay, Ashley, are you ready? I think she is ready.
Yes, I am.
So I'm going to pass this screen to Ashley now. Okay.
Let me just share my screen quickly.
Okay.
All right. So you guys see my screen?
The screen is yours. I'm going to leave now. Okay.
Okay. So I hope you guys can see my slides. Yep. All good. Okay, cool. So today I'll be going to talk about online traffic. I think what Salman introduced earlier is that it's important to understand your traffic sources today. But I think before we pass the session to the next speaker, I think it's important for businesses to understand how do you get online traffic. I think it's important today. Also, the topic is that a lot of people are searching on Google today, but how do you actually capture all this traffics and actually turn these people into your customer? So in the next about 45 minutes, I'm going to share with you how can you generate online traffics and how do you get instant access to millions of potential customers online without massive investment. All right. So I think let me just quickly share again about myself. I think that's more people joining in the call. My name is Ashley, and I'm a digital marketing consultant, trainer, and also a speaker. I used to work in Google Malaysia in the marketing team, but right now I'm actually running my own business called Superanium, where we actually help businesses to generate sales and leads online. So that's what we are focusing on. So before I start, I actually wanted to share more about the consumer behavior in Malaysia, because I think it's important to know that whether your traffics or whether your customers are they already online. Answer it's always yes, because if you look into statistics, 80% of Malaysians are already online, and there are about like 26 million of active internet users, and average people actually spend like 8 hours per day. And I'm sure this number will keep on increase but not decrease. So especially like during this 2 months MCO, we actually spend more time on internet rather than on the offline media. So that's very significant changes that we are actually seeing. And mass media in Malaysia have changed. I think this is nothing surprise to everyone and nothing new to everyone. And if you notice, media today, it's shifted to mobile. So a lot of people actually consume or access the internet using the mobile phone. So it's important to know the trends actually, because if you understand where your customers are or where your audiences are, I think you are able to find them easier or easily, right? So I think this is something not new to everyone. Anyone having the same behavior like this guy, like the first thing when you wake up, you touch your phones, or before you go to bed, you touch your phone. Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of people actually have the same behavior today. and it's nothing new to us. And digital is actually increasing, influencing how we discover information. In the past, when we are looking for information, we might, go through like offline media. But today, I think majority of the the information sources are from digital. Uh, Especially this again, this during this two lockdown, a lot of people actually relied on digital information more and more. So if you look into the stats, right, it's pretty much amazing because it actually tells us that consumers today relied on digital information to support their making or buying decision. So if you look at this on the right side, right, the numbers here, like restaurants, is actually average number of information sources used by consumer. Average people actually use or search on Google like 5.8 times for restaurants particular keywords, and followed by CPG about 7 times, and credit cards about 8.6 times. And if you look into like automotive, right, it's like 18 times. So the higher the price of the products, the chances of the user are searching online, it's better and greater. So it's important to understand your consumer today. And if you look into more stats like this, it actually tells us that Malaysian actually still relied on Google search a lot, because the first touch points on digital today is actually on search engine. Whenever you need to know anything or you need to ask anything, you will just go to Google, right? Especially again, like during these 2 months, especially when we are staying home, I think we the only sources that we relied on, it's on Google, right? So what exactly have changed in these 2 months? I just want to share a little bit more about this consumer insights, so that when we look into online traffics, we know what kind of keywords we should target, or what kind of platforms we should reach out them to. So what exactly have changed this in these 2 months, especially this during this pandemic, right? We actually see the behavior have changed again. Top 5 content Malaysian are currently indulging in. In the past, people are watching like businesses videos and all this, right? But during these 2 months, the top content that accessed or consumed by the consumers are movies, and followed by TV series, dramas. I think these dramas included the Korean drama. Anyone watch Korean drama? I'm sure they are. All right, and then followed by cooking show. Okay, I think this it's pretty much surprising, because cooking show is nothing new if everyone noticed this. But during these 2 months, right, in the past 2 months, the content for cooking show category itself kind of spike, and people actually watching a lot of online streaming live today. And I think live is also one of the key trends today, in moving forward, especially for selling things today. Because previously, when we do selling, we do face-to-face selling, but because of all this pandemic and all these changes, we actually change our behavior. We no longer need someone to sell us face-to-face. I think moving forward, right, we just need to watch someone selling online, and we are able to just buy it from there. So I think people getting more and more used to the internet today. All right, and then the last content, the top 5 content, the last one, it's documentaries. And if you look into like kind of video platforms, right, because we understand that a lot of people are actually watching video a lot today. But if in terms of like top video platforms in the past 2 months are still YouTube, and followed by Facebook Watch, Astro Go, and Netflix and iFlix. So I think again, this actually tell us that video is also one of the top content format that businesses should actually pay attention to. So in the past, we actually relied on like content like blogs, articles, but today the form of content have changed as well. People prefer to watch video rather than reading. articles or blogs. So yeah, this is something that we should take note as a business owners, so that we understand that what kind of marketing strategies that we should plan in the next 6 months, right? We call that like post pandemic. All right. And if you look into like more statistics like this, I think nothing new. Also, some trending keywords in the past 2 months on Google in Malaysia. One of the trending keywords is dalgona coffee. Any one of you here made dalgona coffee yourself at home? I'm sure you do, right? And a lot of people still doing it until today. Yeah, and another trending keywords, if you look into the stats, right, it's pretty amazing, because in the past people are searching for a recipe but not as high, but during this year onwards, I mean during March onwards, we actually see a spike in the keywords recipe. A lot of people, I think, become a cook today, and a professional cook as well. And I see a lot of people started their own cooking show or cooking channel. So yeah, this is pretty amazing, because in the past we are not really paying attention on the keyword recipe, but right now people are searching it. And of course, another one is food delivery. Again, food delivery is not a new keywords, but during this MCO, we actually see a spike again. People actually searching for food delivery, and also grocery delivery actually. So like this one, so this is like a very significant kind of like spike, because in the past, like last year June until now, right, I mean until January and February, like no one really searching for grocery delivery. But because of this, everybody's staying home, we actually change our behavior again. We never shop things, we never shop the products online before, but right now we're actually trying to shop that products. So I think this is again something of a change, like in the Malaysian consumer again, especially like what I mentioned earlier, essential shopping actually moves online. In the past, people are not paying attention buying like essential products online, like groceries or snacks or personal hygiene items. But because of this COVID thing, our behavior change again. I'm sure in the past, like you never seen people actually sell fish online or sell fruits online, but in this 2-3 months, I think everybody kind of like used to that already. Seeing the fish live video or the fish live streaming, people are actually used to that kind of buying behavior already, right? And that's why there's the rise of e-commerce. A lot of people actually started to move to e-commerce platform, to start selling their products. It's also quite a new normal, I guess. And if you look into the stats, right, it actually tells us that some of the key top merchant or top e-commerce platform are still Shopee and Lazada. This is according to their monthly website visit. Yeah, so it's like monthly traffics. So if you're looking to sell your products online, I think it's a very, very good move today, because your consumer already adapting the behavior of buying things online. So as a business owners, right, it's important to brainstorm with your team again and see how should you move this your businesses or your products to digital. And I will always suggest that you might want to leverage on those e-commerce platform like Shopee and Lazada, because they already have tons of like monthly traffics, so you don't need to focus on bringing your own traffics to your store. Right, this is some of the options, suggestions that you can take. So as I said again, right, opportunities definitely created. A lot of people think that it's a bad thing. I understand that economy kind of like not as stable as in the past, but I think definitely in a marketing perspective, I think it's a great opportunity for all businesses and merchants, because your customers or your audience today are really, really on digital. Because in the past, when we talk about like digital transformation, right, a lot of businesses or a lot of merchants are still questions like whether my audience are already online, whether my customers will buy my products online. I think don't have to ask this question again, because it's obvious that your consumer or your customers are already on digital and they are adapting faster than you. Right? So I think in the key thing right now is the speed of adapting to all this new normal, and also looking into more strategies and opportunities to reach out to your audience. All right, so that's why I said be found online is super important now, more than ever. Okay, in the past people still question whether I should have a website, but this question is no longer valid, because it's like a fundamentals, right? It's definitely you need it. All right. So question is that where should a small businesses start digital marketing? I think when we talk about digital marketing, right, the first step is link back to online traffics. How do we get traffics, or how do we get attention from your audiences? So, and a lot of people might also face the problem is that they don't have a huge marketing budget, or they don't even allocate a certain amount on their marketing. So, but today, which is in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to share with you how do you, still able to reach out to your audiences without massive investment. All right, I think this is something that will get more small businesses on board on digital space. Yeah, because a lot of time we have this perception is that driving an online traffic or having a huge sales online and all this thing, I need a huge marketing budget. But but it's actually not. It's actually not as true, because there's a few ways or methods that you can actually adopt, and you won't be able. I mean, you won't need to spend a lot of money on that. All right, so let me just quickly go through the tips for you. The first tips I'm going to share, it's Google My Business. Okay, top 3 strategies I'm going to share. It's number 1, Google My Business, SEO, search engine optimization, and the last one is search engine marketing, SEM. This top 3 strategies, right, it's actually the key strategies today for you to bring or drive online traffics. I think it's important to I think the first step is to really drive or to have enough database, or we call that at least a traffics. If not, it's very hard for you to move to the second stage, which is to analyze your data. A lot of people are focusing a lot of time on analyzing their data, but if you don't have enough data, basically you have nothing to analyze. So I think the first step for businesses today, it's important to get online traffics first. Of course, traffic doesn't mean sales. Traffic doesn't relate to conversion, but it's important at least you get people to your website first, right? It's similar to the concept like if you have a physical store. Let's say you have a retail store, right? We don't talk about converting customers first. I think the first step should know the way how do we drive people to your store. All right, and then from there you are able to leverage on analytics. You're able to leverage on other tools to help you to optimize what kind of marketing action that you should take to convert these visitors into your customers. So that's why I'm going to talk about the first step first, which is online traffic. All right, so the first strategy, I think before we start, we need to understand the search engine result page, or this particular page itself. We call them a SERP page. So what exactly it means that, because on Google search today, right, you actually able to see different types of results. The first results you always see on the top is the advertisement. All right, and then followed by the middle one, which is with the maps and all. We call that result, it's Google My Business results. And then we have the bottom part, the rest of the results, it's basically not an ads, and they are not Google My Business. So basically we call them organic results. So I think it's important to understand this page because different types of results actually have their own, objective and also their own, we call them like a role, to drive traffic to your website. So, and why I actually share these top 3 steps is because if you notice back the statistics that I pulled out earlier, the first touch point today on digital space is still search engine. I mean, a lot of people, before they actually buy something or before they actually look out for, your company, they will actually perform a search, right? So I think search results is still relatively important. It's still important for you to rank on Google page, to be honest. All right. So yeah, if today if you ever advertise on, let's say, magazine, or let's say on other platform like Facebook, right? But if people wanted to know more about you, and if they perform a search on Google and they couldn't find anything about you, I think you kind of miss out the opportunities. I think the same goes to, like, today, if you want to look more about me, like, you type Ashley Ong on Google, and if you can't find any of my profile, like even my LinkedIn profile, right, I think you kind of like doubt also, right, who is this girl, right, who is this Ashley, right? So I think it's important today is that you need to have an online presence, and online presence actually starts from these 3 strategies, right? So the first one I'm going to share with you is called Google My Business. I think this is nothing new. A lot of people actually aware about this, but not many people actually actively manage their Google My Business account, and also not many people actually know how to optimize their Google My Business account. So I'm going to share with you some of the tips today. How do you optimize your Google My Business so that your results, so that your business's listing actually able to show on top, right, on the Google Maps or even on the search result page. So the first thing, I think, if for people who are new to this, Google My Business is definitely a free tool. You don't have to pay a single cent. That's why I say these 3 strategies that I'm going to share with you, it's kind of like a low investment one lah. Okay, so the first one is Google My Business. It's a totally free tool. How it works is that basically you can just search Google My Business on Google, and you just need to sign up an account. And the whole process, the whole tool is totally free, right? So you just need to register a business. We call them like a listing, on Google Maps and also Google My Business. And when you got verified, when your business got verified, basically you will have Google will actually list, your business, like, on this, like this screenshot. So when people are searching for, let's say, fish head curry banana leaf, right, your business restaurants or your cafes, right, are able to show up on the first page on Google. So this is what we call a Google My Business results. All right, and a lot of people, as I mentioned, they already have Google My Business, but they are not actively manage it. So what does I mean by managing it? It's actually same like how you manage your social media page, like your Facebook business page, right? A lot of people actually focus on manage their Facebook page because they know that, I need to do posting and all this thing. But actually for Google My Business, it's the same case, right? You will need to still manage your page, manage your business listing. So the first things that you can actually leverage on Google My Business is, we call them a post feature. If you notice, right, those that already have Google My Business account, you are able to actually do posting. And this posting actually works exactly like how your social media posts work. So basically, you can put out a photo, you can put out a video, and then you can write captions. And when people actually found your business listing on Google, they are able to see your post. And you will be surprised because a lot of people think that Google My Business not really helping me to drive traffic to my retail, or not really helping to drive traffic to my e-commerce store. I think this is not true, okay? Because I worked with a few clients in the past on Google My Business, and when I put out reports for them, right, and actually realized, the client realizes that, actually average they have like 20,000 over searches on their retail store. Like people are looking for direction, people are looking for their contacts to call them or to talk to them. So you will be surprised, like, because I think because the first touch point today is on Google, the search engine. So if you manage well your Google My Business, you are able to really drive traffic to even your website or even your retail. All right, and if you're able to optimize the process, you are able to convert them in a way. All right, so the first thing is, if you have a Google My Business account, please leverage on the post. Okay, post updates. All right, so you can post any. I think especially these 2 months, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of some SOPs that you need to implement it at your store, or you have some shipping or delivery messages that you need to convey out to your customers. I think you definitely need to leverage on posts on Google My Business. Okay, and yeah, so some of the idea of posts is that you can do announcements, you can do events posts, you can do products promotion. Don't only post product promotion or your business details on your social media page. Focus on Google My Business as well, because as I said again, the first touch point today is still on search engine. All right, and then next one is business information. So next features that you can leverage on Google My Business is photos. So a lot of people actually not posting enough photos on Google My Business, but if you look into the stats, right, 90% of customers actually prefer those businesses that posted up their photos. Because if you have photos, right, photos actually works as like an expectation. I mean, set an expectation to your customers, like what your customers or what your audience are able to expect. So photos also help to convert people. As I mentioned, online traffics are those like people already visited or landed to your website, right? So how do you make sure that they actually click on your listing? Or how do you make sure that they actually click on your website? Don't forget this, guys. I always say this. Before a user actually visited your website, think about it. They might, visited other websites similar as yours in the past maybe 1 or 2 minutes. So how do you stand out? How do you differentiate yourself with your competitors? So this is very important, right? So you need to share more content in a way to attract traffics or also get people to click on you on your website. Okay, so next one, it's that for Google My Business, there's another features that I really want to introduce you called category specific features. Basically, it's if let's say you are a restaurant, or if you are a restaurant, right? So if you don't have a menu on your website, you basically can leverage on Google My Business and upload your menu in Google in your listing. Okay, so when people actually found your Google My Business listing, they are able to check out your menu, check out your prices within a click. So I understand that some people actually wanted to drive people to their website. All right, but don't forget, we do have desktop users and mobile users. Mobile users behavior and desktop user behavior are totally different. Mobile users, they actually expect quick information, quick results. So if you get them to go to your website and you want them to click on, like, let's say 3 clicks to get your menu, probably they won't do that, right? So, but desktop user, they might. Okay, so it's important that you need to understand or segment at least your different audiences have different kind of experience. So desktop user experience could be on your website, or and then mobile experience could be leveraging on the Google My Business. It could be that way. All right, so not only like you set up one thing and to fit everyone. So you have to keep on optimizing your digital assets as well. All right, So one of it is to optimize this part, the category specific features. And of course, don't forget to put up your call directions and your website details. Some people might ask is that if I'm running an e-commerce stores, can I complete sign up on Google My Business? Yep, you still can, as long as you have a physical business address. You are able to complete a sign up on Google My Business. All right. So again, back to these features, try to put up all your contact details, and especially if you put up like your call numbers, or if you put up like your website, make sure that especially on the call, when people are calling you, right, the expectation is that someone has to pick up the call, right? This is a simple and straightforward expectation, right? So it's important because a lot of businesses, they tend to forget is that they put up their contact details online, but they forget to actually manage their operation in-house, right? So they thought that people might not call them, but actually it's not true. Once you actually listed your business details online, people will call you, all right? People will reach out. So make sure that you have a ready operation team to help you to, reach, to manage, the customer expectation, because this is my personal experience. I really, really want to share this. So last week, I wanted to order food online. I don't want to mention the restaurants, all right? But it's a tonkatsu Japanese restaurant, okay? But I don't want to name it, all right? So they actually have this very brilliant website, giving people the call button. So in their website, once you click call, right, you are able to link directly to the dial pad, which is brilliant. All right. And in their website, they even have like menus and all those things. So when I click call, right, yes, someone actually pick up, but I think they actually get their foreigners workers to take call, and unfortunately I actually spent like about 5 minutes on the call, and I couldn't order a single thing, because the foreign workers don't understand what I'm talking, and I keep repeating, and I keep I get them to get their manager to take the call, and I keep holding. They hold me on the call, but still not solving my problem. So at the end, I kind of frustrated, and I just hang out. I just say, okay, it's okay, I don't want to order anymore, and I just hang out. So again, if you are the management, right, in the management team, I think this is a very, very little things that you should focus, because if you put up your information online when you already get traffics in, all right, so this is your top of the funnel already, right? People already go into your funnel, but they are still on the top of the funnel. So if you are not able to get people to convert or manage the customers well, basically you actually turn off your customers. So it's very crucial. It's little things, but it's important. All right. So I'm not sure that restaurants, how well is their phone takeout and all the results, but I guess it's bad because they can't even communicate with their customers. So importantly, if you have call button, please make sure that you have someone in the team, to take calls, rather than, you just send anyone from your team to, answer the call. All right. So strategy number 2. All right. I hope everyone is still with me. Okay. So strategy number 2 is search engine optimization. I think this is nothing new. We call it SEO. All right. I'm not going to go into deep dive on the technical side. I just want to share with you the overall picture, in an overview picture, how businesses can leverage on this strategy to help you to increase traffics online. All right. So the first one is what I mentioned earlier. We have different results on Google search page. So one of it, those that is not advertisement, those that is not Google My Business result, they are called organic results, and this is the part where SEO comes in. So SEO basically is a strategy to help you to increase your website ranking on Google search result page without paying advertisement fee. All right. So few things that you need to take note on SEO. A lot of people actually, when they started their digital strategy, they want to increase online traffic, they actually get people to help them to run SEO. I think it's relevant and also valid because organic results, not to say organic result, but ranking on Google organically is relatively important, because if you don't have enough ad spend every month, then you have to rely on your organic, right? So that's where we comments. SEO and SEM has to kind of do it concurrently, because SEO is not a guarantee strategy. It's not like you put up the strategy on SEO already and then you can see immediate results, and you can't also expect it will be there forever. The ranking. So this is something that businesses should take note, because a lot of people think that SEO is kind of like a magic. Like I put up my, I hire an SEO specialist and I can get sales immediately, or I can rank my website immediately. So it's not an immediate solution. SEO, it's more for a long-term strategy, not a short-term strategy. So if you have like a product launch today, right? You need to launch a new product today and you expect sales tomorrow. So if that scenario, then SEO might not be a good strategy at that time. Okay, because SEO is more on long term. So how do you make sure that you have a successful SEO strategy? I think a lot of people also think that I need to hire SEO specialists to run this strategy. It's true, all right. But actually, if your businesses is not big, if you're still in small businesses, you can actually start SEO practice yourself. If you have a new website, all right. So we have the two parts of SEO. I think today I'm going to talk more about the on-page SEO. So on-page, basically, it's you focusing on whatever on your page, right? So that's why I actually break down into these three parts. The first is on the content. So if you understand how Google works, right, basically it works based on relevancy of results, which means very simple terms, which mean when a user key in a certain keywords, let's say the user are searching for flower delivery. So Google machines or the Google algorithm will find results related to flower delivery. Okay, so this is a very basic understanding, right? So because if Google need to make sure that the results that they show, it's quality. So that's why they need the relevancy have to be there. So if in your website, right, for example, like this one. So if you look, like we have this blue color line, we call it like a headline, and then followed by the green color one, it's like your URL, like www.lalong.com.my, right? This is your URL. And then the rest of it, like Carlog Malaysia and all this, right, it's considered like a description of your page, or I put it in simple terms, right? So if you want Google to rank your website when people are finding your products, in a very very logic terms, is that you have to make sure that your headline or your description or in your URL at least contain keywords that people are searching, right? So this is very basic. So if you want people to search, like say by Carlog KL and found your website, you need to make sure that at least in your website you have a keywords like this. All right, so this is a very straightforward thing, and a lot of people don't really aware. And when just now I mentioned the blue color line is headline, right? A lot of people actually don't optimize their headline. They actually put out like their company name. For example, they put ABC Syndrome Berhad. All right, so when people are searching for ABC Syndrome Berhad, definitely your website are able to show. But if people are searching for your product's name or other keyword terms, right, then you might not able to show up already. So I think this is what we link back to the content as well. Not only keywords, but also the content. I think I read an article recently saying that Google actually update their algorithm again. Today is no longer they are focusing on content and also focusing on keywords, but they also focus on the brand mention, or the brand, what do you call it, the terms. Basically is that they actually evaluate how popular is your brand or how strong is your brand. So let's say if a lot of people are searching about your brand in the past, let's say a year or so, right? So they might tend to show up your website first. So it's based on whatever consumer are searching. So it's relying on their behavior today, and then to make changes on the results. So again, it's important to build your brand and content online, okay, in order to increase more traffics. And second part is HTML. I think this is more on the back end side, right? And then HTML is referring to what kind of programming language that you are using on a website, whether this language or this CSS is it recognized by the system. All right, and the last part is architecture, which is the mobile responsiveness. So Google also paying very attention on mobile responsive site. So it's important that you actually check, your mobile website speed today, because if your speed or your website responsiveness are bad, Google tend not to rank your website high. All right, so you can actually go to this website called testmysite.thinkwithgoogle.com, and you can actually check how well is your mobile website performing. All right, so that's about SEO. It's part of the way to increase, your online traffic. And the last strategy I want to share, it's called search engine marketing, which is SEM. It's also is nothing new. Basically, it's the paid ads that you've seen on Google, and we call this Google Ads, Google Search Ads. Basically, how it works is that based on a pay-per-click model, which means advertiser will get charged when a user click on the advertisement. So if the user are not clicking on your ads, you won't get charged any single cents. All right. So in order to have a successful SEM strategy, I'm sure a lot of people started to explore this strategy, and a lot of people actually tried it out and also tell me that it's not working for them. Basically, they couldn't get results. I will share with you why. Okay, I won't go into details again because it could be, we can drive in very technical, but I only want to share with you in overall picture, how do you have a successful Google search ads, okay? So how it works basically is that people will search on Google on the keywords, also based on keywords targeting, all right? And when people found your ads, they're actually able to click on your ads and you can drive them to your website. Okay, so if you look into this, right, this particular flow, it's we actually break down into 3 parts here. The first part is that people need to search the keywords, right? So I think in order to have a successful SEM, importantly, you need to buy in or bid in keywords that people are searching. All right, so a lot of people just buy a list of keywords, and some of the keywords don't have any search volume at all. So if you don't have any search volume, right, basically, which means no one are searching this keyword. So if you buy that, basically your ads might not be able to show as well. Okay, so you have to check the search volume of the keywords that you actually wanted. So how do you do that is that you can just go to Google Keyword Planner tool. It's a free tool, right? You can just check the search volume and understand what people are searching on Google. Okay, so in order to have a successful search ads, the first part is to optimize your keywords. And next part is that you need to optimize your, your ads. So a lot of people also think that, ads is very easy, right? I just need to put up like just write a sentence, just put a headline, and I'm good. It's actually not, right? There's a lot of best practices of writing a good ads. So you can actually always go to Google Ads help support. You can actually search for like best practices of ads. They actually show you, what kind of things that you should include. So I just want to share a simple one. First tips is that best practices, you need to include keywords that you buy in one of your ads. Like this example that I show, like people are searching for yoga retreats, right? So make sure that in all your ads, right, no matter in the headline or description, you at least have these keywords as your, in your ads, like yoga retreats. Okay, so second best practices is that you need to have a call to action in your ads. Call to action basically is that telling people what kind of actions you want them to take. Is it contact us now? Is it download a brochure? Is it sign up for free samples? So you have to put out a call to action in your ads. And third best practices is that you might want to include like your unique selling points. Like what is different between you and others? Everybody are selling yoga retreats, right? So what is your difference? Are you, I don't know, are you you have a special yoga master to teach or what? All right, so write out your unique selling points. Okay, so optimize your ads, and then the last part is to optimize your landing page. So a lot of people say that my ads are not my search ads is not performing because people drive. I know a lot of traffic's landed to my website from ads, but no conversion at all, So this is the part where you need to optimize your landing page. All right, so you need to make sure that the content that you put up on your landing page is actually relevant to your advertisement. So if your advertisement are talking about free shipping, talking about, all this promotion thing, make sure your landing page talk the same thing, deliver the same message. I've seen one advertisement before. I don't want to mention the name. It's actually an aircon brand. It's so bad. Okay, I saw their advertisement. They're saying that buy aircon and they will free a set of cooking pots and all this a set. So I'm actually got attracted to their free gift. Okay, so I actually clicked on their ads and I'm very, very disappointed because when I land to their page, they actually drive me to their homepage, and in their homepage they don't have any content talking about the promotion that they are having, which is the buy aircon and then free the pots. So I closed the website immediately. I dropped off immediately. So it's very, very bad. All right. So make sure that you optimize your landing page as well. Okay, so why SEM? I don't want to go into further. I think a lot of people find the importance of running SEM today. So SEM is more on short-term results, like you want to see immediate results, right? You can see fast results. So you can actually target based on different target audience group, and also you're able to measure your ads ROI. So you're able to measure like how much you put in your ads and how much you actually get back in sales. So this is why a lot of people actually, started SEM as well. All right. So before I end my session, I hope everyone find it useful. All right. So some of the key takeaways is that if you notice, I share all these 3 strategies, right? It's actually come to these 3 key takeaways. Number 1, if you want to increase your online traffic, you have to be there. All right, you have to be there throughout your consumer purchase journey. Basically, if they are on Facebook or they are on Google, you have to be there. Right. So key takeaway number 2, if you want to have a good online traffic, you will need to be valuable, which means you need to offer useful information in your website, useful content, and meaningful experiences. And the last key takeaway is that you have to be quick, because if you drive traffic to your website and if your website loading speed is slow, your website navigation experiences are bad, people will just drop off. Okay, so be quick, delivering fast and frictionless experiences in real time. So everything, I think a lot of people might aware about this. The loading speed, keep it between 3 seconds on mobile, and in terms of number of clicks to find one information, also keep between 2 to 3 clicks. So everything have to be there, be valuable, and be quick. All right. So I think before I end my sessions, I have a special things for you guys today. I actually prepared this website template. Basically, you are able to audit your website today to see how well your website are performing. All right. So feel free to scan this QR code, and you are able to download the website audit template for free. All right. Or you can go to this website, superanium.com/website audit. All right. I prepare an audit template for you, and you can do it at home. So happy audit. Build a good website, and then once you audit your website, I think the next part is the Google Analytics that you need to optimize. All right. So that's about my session. Yep. Over to you, Salman. Salman.
Okay, yes, thank you. Actually, you can
Thank you.
you can also post the link to in our Facebook comment, so that
Okay, sure.
that only they can just click. Okay,
Yes.
all right.
All
So
right.
thank you again.
Thank you,
Actually,
guys.
for sharing with us very
Thank
cool
you.
information about online traffic. So I hope you learned something. Okay, now I'm going to remove Ashley first, and then I will invite her again towards the end of the session for Q&A session. Okay. So for those who just joined SITEC live streaming program, we have another speaker right after this, Danisha from Maxis e-commerce and retail. So can we invite Danisha to the screen? All right. Hi, Danisha. Are you ready?
Hi, everyone. Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. So later, if anyone watching this live, if you have any question, you can just drop in the comment section. I will choose, and then we will select the relevant question, and then we'll try to answer your question. Okay. Now I'm going to pass the screen to Danisha. So Danisha, you can, the screen is yours. You can start now.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. For those of you who just joined me, my name is Danisha, and I'm currently an insight specialist at Maxis e-commerce and retail. So I think I don't need to give an introduction to Maxis. Everyone knows Maxis as a leading telecommunications and converged solutions provider in Malaysia. But other than our connectivity offerings, we also help businesses with digitalization to improve and grow their business. And this is one of the ways that Maxis e-commerce and retail comes into the picture. We enable retail businesses to strive in the online space via e-commerce. So as we all know, consumers are increasingly searching and shopping online. So we help businesses stay connected to their customers online by a strong branded web store, and continuously engage with your customers using relevant digital channels and analytics. All right, I'll dive right in now. So in today's session, you will learn these 5 key areas. What is Google Analytics? How to navigate the Google Analytics interface, what metrics you should be monitoring, and how you can derive insights from the various reports, how to track marketing campaigns, and lastly, how to get started with a quick action plan. Introducing Google Analytics. So what is Google Analytics? Google Analytics, or GA, is a free web analytics tool offered by Google to help you analyze the performance of your website. Now, there's a reason over 29 million websites around the world today use Google Analytics. So if you're not using it already, you will definitely want to get it set up after this session. Here are some of the key features of Google Analytics, and this will really help you to understand why so many people use Google Analytics and why it's such a popular tool today. We can broadly classify the key features into 2 areas: user acquisition data, and this is all the information that Google already knows about users before they enter your website. And secondly, user behavior data, which is about how they move or interact with your website. So in terms of user acquisition data, the first would be origin of traffic. This tells us about the source of all the visitors that come into your website. Secondly would be user demographics. It can tell us whether these users are new or returning, what their age, gender, and interests are, where they're located, and what their browser language is set to. It can also tell you about the device and technology, like what device type are they on, what brand or model, what browser and operating system they're using, and even which network operator they are on. In terms of user behavior, we have site health or site engagement, which tells us things like how long does the session last on your website, what pages do they browse and how many they're browsing, what your exit and bounce rates are like, and even your page loading time. The second area here would be behavior flow, and this tells you what page they land on, what pages they view, what pages they leave, and even what they search for from within your own internal search bar on your website. Lastly, or one of the most important areas would be conversion. So these tells you your goal completions. In the e-commerce terms, this could be your transactions and revenue, shopping behavior, and product performance. All right, now we go into navigating the Google Analytics interface. So in terms of the home page, when you log into your Google Analytics account, right up front in the middle, you'll see a dashboard that shows you the key performance metrics of your last 30 days. And to the right of that, you can see an overview of your real-time statistics. How many people are actively on your site at this moment and what pages they're on. On the top, you'll see a search bar, and you can use this function to quickly find reports and help documentation. There's a customization on the left panel. Here you can use it to set up your own dashboards, build custom reports, and even set up alerts. The reports menu on the left-hand side of the page lets you access deeper reporting for specific areas, and I'll go into this in more depth in the next section. Lastly, at the bottom, we have an admin tab. Here you can access your Google Analytics account, alter your settings, your configurations, and more. So this is what a report would look like on Google Analytics. So we know that GA records a website's data, but how it presents it to you is in in-depth tables, charts, and graphs. So on the right-hand side top, you will see a function to save your reports, export them to PDF, CSV, Excel, things like that, and even to share reports to other members of your team. On the left, there's an add or change segments, where users on mobile device, for example, could be a segment. You could have Clang Valley users, users from paid marketing channels, and this is how you can slice the reports to go into depth. On the right, there's also a date range and comparison period selector. So here is where you select what period of date range you actually want to analyze and what period you want to compare that against. On the top, we have a graphical representation. So here is just a graphical view, and below that is tabular form. In terms of the graphical representation, you can use the Explorer tab on the top to change the view. You can also change or add the metrics that are plotted on the graph. So for example, currently it's showing users, but you can change that to any other metric that you want to see plotted. And on the right, you see a change timescale. So the horizontal axis, you can change whether you're seeing a daily plot, weekly, or monthly. Below that, we have table, which is broadly split into dimensions and metrics. So dimensions is what you see on the left of the table, and then all the numbers are what we call metrics. So in terms of what you can do on the tabular section of the reports, you're able to change these primary dimensions. You can also add a secondary dimension. And on the right, there's a search bar which allows you to actually filter the rows to only see specific data, or even change the tabular view. So you can use like a pivot table, for example. And below that, you see that you can change the conversion metric. So there's a drop down. You can select different goals to compare your different dimensions against. Okay, so now I'll tell you some of the key metrics to monitor and how you can derive insights from the reports. So Google Analytics has over 500 different fields, different dimensions and metrics. So when you first start looking into your Google Analytics, it might be a little bit overwhelming. So to get started, these are 5 key metrics that you should be monitoring for your website or your e-commerce site. The first would be users. Now, users tells you the number of people that visit your website. So why you should be monitoring this metric is really because it points to the effectiveness of your marketing strategy in acquiring new and returning users. Sessions is the second one. This is the number of visits on your website. So one visitor or one user can have one or more sessions on your website. So therefore, it's quite closely linked to the users in determining the effectiveness of your marketing. Third is bounce rate. This is the percentage of visits where only one page was browsed and didn't have any interaction. So this can help you measure the effectiveness of your marketing targeting as well as your web experience. Average session duration is the amount of time a person spends on a website during one visit. So a longer session means that the users are more engaged with your web content. The fifth one would be conversion rate. This is the percentage of visits which results in a conversion. So it can help identify how well you convince your visitors to perform a desired action. So for e-commerce websites, the primary conversion goal is usually a transaction. However, you may have other conversion goals. For example, you want people to sign up to your email newsletters. You want them to download an ebook, things like that. So these are different goals that you can set. So when it comes to all these 5 metrics, aside from bounce rate, the higher the number, the better. So only for bounce rate, we want to see a lower number, and that indicates better performance. All right, so now we go into the different reports. Your acquisition report is one of the most useful reports, and personally where I would spend most of my time when I analyze Google Analytics data. And the reason for that is because it can basically give you a view of all these 5 key metrics all at once. So it helps to tell you where your traffic is coming from, how people are reaching your site, and how each traffic source is behaving on your website. So as I mentioned before, this report you use to measure the effectiveness of your marketing campaign that you're running. This is a sample of an acquisition report. So this is a channel report. It can help tell you which channel is best for awareness, meaning it drives you the most users and sessions. It can help you analyze between the different channels how the engagement levels of each are. It can tell you which channel is best for conversion, meaning it brings about the most transactions, or maybe it has the best conversion rate. Similarly, there are other reports in the acquisition section, such as Google Ads, campaign reports, keyword reports, and even organic search. The second main report section would be audience reports, and this tells us all about our users. So aside from just telling you how many users you have on your website, it can also tell you things like the demographics, what are their age, gender, or even where they're located, and what devices they're using to access your website, whether this is a mobile or a desktop. And if it's mobile, it can even tell you down to the model or the brand, that it's an iPhone 10 or 11, or whether it's a Samsung Galaxy, for example. It can also help you to identify what language your users set their browser to, whether this is English, Malay, Chinese, or other. So this is a sample of your demographics report. It will give you an identification of which age group and gender are the largest to your website. And it helps you to determine whether your marketing is effective at reaching your target audience, or sometimes it might even help you identify a target group you did not realize would be one of your target audiences. So it might bring about some new insights for you when you look at these reports. Another sample would be geolocation. So it tells you where most of your users are located based on their IP address, and which location is more or less likely to transact or to convert. So GA allows you to go down to granularity of city. So you can tell, for example, Selangor versus Kuala Lumpur versus Penang. So it goes down to state level. Another report would be device. So as I mentioned before, which device type, whether it's mobile, desktop, or tablet. And you can see which most of your users use when they browse your website. And it can also help you to identify if there are any web issues in terms of user experience across the different devices. And lastly, the sample here is of an interest report. It tells you on a high level what type of interest your website users have, whether they're into sports, shopping, technology, lifestyle, travel, things like that. Google Analytics also has what they call as behavior reports, and this can tell us a little bit more insights on our bounce rate and our average session duration. So behavior reports allow you to learn how people behave and move around on your site. Understand how your web content and experience, such as page loading time and on-site search function, affect your overall engagement metrics. This is a sample of the behavior flow. So it tells you what sequence of pages users usually browse and also where the users drop off in this flow. You also have site search report, and this tells us which percentage of sessions included usage of the on-site search function, and it can also tell you whether or not it was effective at returning relevant results, and maybe it can even give you insights into what other products users are searching for. So to give you an example, I once had a client who was selling stationery products, so mainly, markers, pens, things like that. So from this report, we actually found that a lot of users were searching for notebooks. So if you're not already, having notebooks on your e-commerce site, this shows you an opportunity of what people are actually looking for, and you can bring in notebooks and start selling that online as well, as there's already a intent and interest from your users to purchase these. The third example here is a site speed report. So this will tell you how fast your top viewed pages load in comparison to each other. The last section here would be conversion report. So it tells us all about our conversion rates. It lets you track specific actions that your visitors take and how effectively your website gets people to take those actions. So enabling enhanced e-commerce tracking is crucial for all e-commerce businesses in order to gain insights on your conversion funnel, your product performance, and more. This is a sample of one of the reports. It's called shopping behavior, and it basically shows you your e-commerce conversion rate broken down by your funnel. So where do most of your users drop off? It helps you to identify if there are any roadblocks to conversion. Secondly, here's a product performance report. It shows you how your products are performing, which products may have a high interest, like a lot of views, or maybe a lot of people are adding to cart, but at the end, there's a low volume of purchases. And it can also show you which products have lowest views. So maybe in this respect, there's a site navigation issue, so users are not really able to find those products. So these are the kind of insights you can get from the Google Analytics inbuilt reports. For the next section, I'll talk to you about enabling campaign tracking. So by default, as I showed you in the acquisition report earlier, Google Analytics is able to categorize traffic into what they call channels and report on their performance. So example of a channel could be organic search. And this is when a person, directly searches in Google and clicks on a link that's not an ad. It can tell you whether the traffic came from this, or did it come in from people from your social media posts? Did it come in from particular ads that you were running either on Facebook or your search engine marketing ads? Did they come in from a referral site? Referral means they came into your website from another website, or whether they came in directly or other sites as well. So what about if you would like to drill down to see campaign or ad level or keyword performance? So if you're running specific marketing campaigns, you might want to see how that campaign is performing overall instead of seeing it, in terms of a channel perspective. Or if you're doing search engine marketing, or you've invested in search engine optimization, you might want to see what kind of keywords are actually driving in traffic and conversions to your site. So how do we get this started? So this is possible on Google Analytics, but we first need to understand how Google Analytics is determining the origin of this inbound traffic in the first place. So Google Analytics identifies the origin of traffic from what they call UTM parameters, which are appended to the end of your URL. So this might get a little bit technical, but I'll try my best to break it down in as simple as terms as I can. So this is an example of a UTM tagged URL. So basically you have your URL at the front. In this example, it's www.nike.com, but this could even be a specific page. So for example, /men/running shoe. And then what you see behind it are a bunch of what we call UTM parameters. So the first one is UTM source. In this case, it's equal newsletter. So this is your referrer. So this could be something like Google, it could be Facebook, it could be newsletter. The second would be a UTM medium, and this tells you whether it was paid, which we usually denote with CPC, whether it came in organically, whether it came in from your social channels, or whether it came from email. And then we have campaign name. So here you can define what your campaign is called. Here we have spring sale as an example. And then we have UTM content, which allows you to break down what was the actual content of that particular campaign. So in this case, it's running shoes, maybe it's yoga pants, for example. So it allows you to break down into different levels of granularity. So when GE defines those channels that I showed you earlier, it does it based on default source and medium parameters that it receives. So for example, when you click in from a Google search, it will automatically be classified as organic search because the referrer would be Google and the medium would be organic. If they clicked in through your regular Facebook post, it would be classified as social because the referrer would be Facebook and your medium would be social, for example. So in order to send more granular details to Google Analytics about the origin of your traffic, we need custom UTM links. This will add even more details in terms of your campaign, what content, or even the keyword that you're using, and allows you to break down your reports into that specific marketing material that it came from. So luckily for us, a lot of platforms today already have a simple way of including detailed UTM parameters. For example, if you're running search engine marketing ads on Google, you'd want to enable auto tagging, and this will automatically send all those campaign and keyword details for you without you needing to do anything extra. If you're using MailChimp, for example, there's a Google Analytics link tracking in your settings that you just need to enable. And for Facebook ads, they have what they call dynamic parameters that you can use to specify your source, campaign, medium, etc. However, if you really do need to generate manual UTM links, in the case that maybe you're not using MailChimp, you're using another email marketing provider that doesn't have this capability, what you'll need to do is generate these UTM links, and you can use Google's campaign URL builder. So if you just Google URL builder, the first result would be Google's campaign URL builder, and you just need to put in all the parameters. What's your URL? What's your source, medium, campaign, etc. And Google will generate the link for you. Then you just use those links in your email marketing, or even if you're turning them into a QR code, for example, for your offline activations, if you're doing any roadshows, things like that. That way, when people scan your QR code and actually visit your website, when you go into your Google Analytics report, you can actually identify that, okay, these traffic came in from my roadshows, for example. All right, so now I'll just get you guys started with an action plan. So here's a quick 5-step action plan on how you can analyze your e-commerce performance. The first step is actually to investigate your website itself. So here we want to check your device reports, you want to check your site speed reports to rule out any web issues. Secondly, we want to ensure all the behavior metrics are healthy, because if it's not, it could be likely that there's a web content issue. The third would be analyzing your conversion or goal funnel to understand the drop-off points. Fourthly, we want to test the hypothesis by fixing any possible issues or challenges and then monitoring the performance again. Lastly, once it's all good, you scale up your efforts to achieve your e-commerce success. So how do you investigate the website? The first thing we want to do is check the device report. So from the reports menu, you navigate to audience, mobile, and then overview. So it allows you to identify which device category most traffic comes from. So in this example, we see that majority of the traffic, about 82%, is on mobile devices. Once we do that, we then check the behavior metrics. So your bounce rate, pages per session, and average session duration. And in this example, we see that there is no major differences between mobile and desktop. They have comparable behavior metrics. So then we go on to look at our conversion. We see that in terms of the e-commerce conversion rate, mobile actually has 3 times lower a conversion rate than on desktop. So here, this could either signify a web issue, maybe your mobile checkout is not optimized for mobile, or it could just be a user preference that they browse on a mobile device, but they rather make the actual purchase on a desktop device. So this is something you just want to go in and check first, because if it is a web issue, you want to make sure you fix that first. The second would be to check your site speed. So aside from using the tools to check your site speed, you can also use Google Analytics, and this shows you the actual speeds based on users' experience. So from your reports menu, again, you navigate to behavior, then you go into site speed and then page timings. What you want to do then is sort the table in descending order of bounce rate, and using the search function, we're going to filter the table to exclude pages with minimal traffic, because I don't want to see pages which maybe only 5 or 10 people have ever seen. I want to focus my attention on my top viewed pages and then look at the ones which could have a site loading issue. Then we would identify pages with a higher than average page loading time and get our web team to investigate them. So when it comes to user experience, we usually want a page that can load, below 3 seconds. That's the ideal. Of course, anywhere between 3 and 5 seconds is still acceptable. So in this example, we see that the average for the whole site is 5.65 seconds, which is not too bad. However, pages 3, 4, and 5 over here have much higher page loading time than the average. So these are the ones we want to deep dive into and make sure there's no issues that are causing a slow loading time. Once all the web issues have been fixed and taken out of the equation, we then look at our behavior metrics to make sure we don't have alarming bounce rates. People are actually engaging on our site. They're viewing a lot of pages in one session, and they're spending time on the site. So then we go into the same site speed report, and we're going to identify pages that could have a possible issue. So in this case, we're looking at pages where page loading time is not an issue. So then we will go in and check that all of these pages have a strong call to action on all of these pages. For example, your product pages should link other relevant products in the cross-sell or upsell section. So if I'm viewing product A, maybe a particular running shoe, there should be a recommendation products at the bottom which show me other running shoes, for example. So if I didn't like what I saw the first time, I have more things to browse and check out as well. For your landing pages, you should have call to actions like shop now or browse all products, so that once a user has landed on the site, they continue browsing and engaging with your website. You don't want to lose them as soon as they land on your page. Secondly, we want to ensure that our marketing channels and marketing materials have a consistent messaging to the landing page that it drives traffic to. So I think this is something that Ashley mentioned earlier in her session as well. If you're advertising, floral dresses in your ad or in your Facebook posts, when I click on the link and land into your actual category page, I want to see floral dresses. If I don't see anything floral, or I don't see any dresses, I'm going to be kind of annoyed, and I'll just, leave the website, because it's not what you were advertising. It's not what I was hoping to see when I landed on your page. So you need to make sure that the marketing messaging is consistent, so that people don't just leave the page as soon as they land there because the web experience wasn't what they expected. Thirdly, we want to analyze our conversion funnel. So when we look at our conversion and goal funnel, what we want to do is understand the drop-off points. So here we've got our shopping behavior report. What we want to do then is select a relevant segment to analyze its funnel performance. So in this example, I filtered this report, or I've sliced this report based on only my paid conversion campaigns. So these are the campaigns that I'm paying media buy to try and drive conversion. So now I want to look at the actual funnel performance. And then I'm going to identify the major drop-off points. So in this example, there's a 97% drop-off at product view. So what this means is only 3% of people who actually viewed my products are adding something to the cart. So we need to then think of what could be the possible issues or the possible roadblocks that's preventing my users from adding something to the cart. Is it because I wasn't clear about my product? Like there's not enough description. They didn't have enough information. You didn't have pictures, for example. So they didn't have enough decision, like they didn't have enough information to make that purchase decision. Is it because there's no clear information about my shipping or returns and exchanges? It could even be a fact of low stock availability. So if there's no stock, then I'm unable to add it to the cart. It could also be the fact that there are no product reviews. So customers are unsure, whether this product is what it says it is. So then people just drop off there. So if we've identified this as one of the possible issues, we want to go in and make sure that we fix everything that could be an issue. And then we monitor this report again. And we hope to see that less people are dropping off at this stage. Third, I also see from this report that there's a 93% cart abandonment rate. So this means that only 7% of people who actually add something to the cart actually proceed on and check out. So what we want to make sure is that if someone has added to the cart, it means that, they have high intent to purchase this. We want to make sure we actually close that sale. So what we can do is test sending cart abandonment emails, or you can even bump up your marketing budgets to remarket to these users and make them convert and close that sale. But some of the other issues that we want to be aware of at this stage could be pricing. So I'm really interested and I want to buy this product. I add it to my cart, but then I do some product comparisons with other websites or even marketplaces, and maybe I found it cheaper somewhere else. So then, of course, I'm not going to buy it from you if you don't give me strong enough reasons to do so, and I'm just going to convert somewhere else. So make sure all your key USPs, the facts that you are the authorized distributor, reseller, the fact that you have warranties, and you provide exchanges and returns, no questions asked. These are the kind of USPs you want to make sure come across really clearly to your end users, because they are not in a physical store where you're able to get your customer sales representative to talk to them and close the sale. So you need to make sure everything is clear on the site itself and don't leave any questions to the users. So step 4 is to fix any of these issues and all of them, and then monitor your performance. Step 5 is to scale up your efforts. So if you're bringing in traffic today using marketing, Facebook ads or Google ads or whatsoever, what you do now is scale up. So spend more money and then continue the cycle of investigating and making sure everything is healthy with good conversion rates. You'll achieve your e-commerce success. So lastly, I'm just going to close off here by telling you all to just keep learning. Google Analytics has a lot of functions and capabilities, and you want to learn how you can leverage that for your e-commerce business. So do check out some of the free online resources that Google provides. There are about 3 courses that you can take on the Google Analytics Academy. The link is below as well. It's analytics.google.com/analytics/academy. So you'd want to start with the beginner course and move up to the other courses as you progress. Thank you.
Okay, yes, sorry. Okay, anyway, thank you, Danisha, for sharing with us what is Google Analytics. I think this Google Analytics topic is kind of really on the back end side. There's a lot of data you're playing with, right? Yep.
Yep.
So, but For starters, you can go to the link that Danisha shared with us, so you can go to the beginner first. Okay, so now let's invite Ashley together with us again. I think we have a lot of questions actually to answer from our audience. Let's choose one. Let me project it to the screen. Okay, Ashley, I think this question is for you, like Ron. He's asking about what about those who have no physical location, not even an online shop, just a website and FB. How they actually leverage on this Google My Business? Can they or they cannot?
No. Okay, so on Google My Business, the only criteria is that you need a physical address. So if let's say you are selling, products online, but if you have like a physical address, so you are able to complete the sign up. But if you don't, unfortunately, Google My Business are not a good platform for you to drive traffic. So you might need to leverage on SEO or SEM at that sense. Yeah.
Okay,
So-
I hope.
Mm.
Okay, you have anything to add on, Danisha?
Nope. I think it's quite clear for Google My Business. One of the key criteria is that you need to have a physical location. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Does buying a generic or keyword domain name push up a domain position on Google?
So is that means that when you're running SEM, buying generic keyword, or what does it mean by keyword domain name? Is it your company name? Yeah, I think so. So advisable is that don't buy too broad keywords, because if you are buying too generic keywords, you will end up just achieving the brand awareness objective, but you might not achieve the conversion objective. So it have to be a balance. So usually when we plan out SEM, we will actually have like branded keywords as one in the ad group, and then maybe a specific product keywords in your ad group. So yeah, but not purely just broad keywords. Yeah.
Okay, understand. I hope that will answer your question, Lang Sui. And then what about this one? What is your suggestion if we want to engage SEO specialists to do SEO for our company? How long should we engage them, since SEO takes longer time?
Danisha, you want to take this from Max's point of view?
Sure. So yeah, I think it's well known that SEO is more of a long-term game. It's something you play in for a long time, because you don't want to consistently maybe spend money buying ads or doing search engine marketing. So you slowly take your time with your search engine optimization, so that organically you rank in page one as high as possible. Generally, this could take 6 months or more, depending on your site itself in terms of its technicalities and your content on the site itself. Because if you don't have anything relevant on your site, you don't have maybe a lot of content, you need things like blogs, articles to really help with your organic ranking. So without all that there, it will take much longer time as well.
Okay. All right. This one. Is it a good idea to compete for a high keyword competitive keyword? What do you think? Yeah, it is.
Actually, I think it's bounced back to what is your objective in that, it's from your campaigns, because compete for high competitive keywords. If that keyword is really about your products, then you have no choice. You have to, compete. So I think it's very depends on the objective. Not necessarily you have to, buy in competitive keywords. Usually competitive keywords are more generic keywords, like broader terms. So if you want, I think also, like I say, like it depends on your objective. If you're looking into more on conversion types of campaigns or performance-based campaign, I think you should focus on keywords that it's really relevant to your business only. And then, so you not necessarily have to buy in, because competitive keywords are very, very broad. Usually they are in broader terms. Yeah. So if you are selling like vegetable delivery or grocery delivery, I think grocery delivery, it's like a broader term. So it's more higher competition in that sense. So maybe you might want to expand into like I don't know, more targeted keywords.
Like for
Yeah.
example, like vegetables, something. Is it something like very targeted?
No, vegetables delivery or grocery delivery is very broad. I think you can go into specific, but again, if specific keywords don't have the search volume, then no choice. You have to buy or compete
Okay,
with the
understand.
keywords. Yeah.
Okay, the next one, I think this question is for Denisha. Are these Google Analytics report paid? Or can we get a free copy? I think it's free, right?
So yeah, Google Analytics has both a free and a paid version. But for most small or medium-sized businesses, the free Google Analytics is more than sufficient because your website traffic won't be so high that you need to go for the paid version. So the free version is what I was showing you. All the reports I showed earlier were from the free version. So that's more than enough to get you started.
Okay, so to get started, I think you can use the free report first before you go dive into the paid one, because it's more complicated, right?
The paid one is actually meant for websites with like a lot of traffic. So imagine you're like I don't know, Air Asia or something with a lot of online traffic. Then if you use the free reports, Google will actually sample your report. So instead of seeing data from 100% of your web traffic, maybe the reports only represent 20% of your website traffic. So once you
Okay.
start having sampling, that's when you need to invest in paid Google Analytics.
Okay, thanks. What about can acquisition report segmentize which social media sites? For example, IG, Facebook, TikTok will give percent of conversion.
Yes, so these social media sites are what we call as the source. So Google will, by default, try and determine whether it came from Facebook or whether this came from LinkedIn or TikTok or which other social media websites. So the field you want to look for in this case is not channel but source. So source will tell you whether it came from Facebook or LinkedIn, TikTok. And if it doesn't deliver as granular results as you want, then you're going to have to do custom UTM tagging.
Okay. Wait, I'm gonna select. There's a lot of questions here. Wait. Okay. What is the main differences between Google Search Console and Google Analytics? Seems similar. She's a beginner, so.
Yep. So Google Search Console is all about your SEO. So it tells you from an organic ranking perspective on Google search engine, how you're performing, how many impressions you get. So this is how many times people actually see your domain as a result when they search for something on Google, how many people actually click on your link. So this will tell you whether or not, your title is catchy enough, you give enough description that would make people actually click on it, or even help to tell you where you stand, because obviously if you're on page 10, you're not going to get much clicks because nobody's going to go all the way to page 10. So Google Search Console is really focused on the SEO side of things, whereas Google Analytics tells you overall for your whole website how it's performing. So other than just your organic channels, it can tell you based on your paid channels as well. And something that you can also do is link both Google Search Console and Google Analytics. So then you'll have an additional report in the acquisition section of Google Analytics that can tell you based on Search Console data as well. So you can see everything in one place.
Okay. What about how do we know a good number for a search volume? I'm not sure this question related to which one, but any of you can answer this.
I think from my perspective is that usually below 10 definitely is very low. I mean, it's not a good keywords to pick. But yeah, you can look for like above 100 at least for a month, because the search volume usually they will show in the time frame of monthly but not daily. So I think if it's lower than 100, it's considered very low search volume, and you might not want to consider. Yeah. So I would say above 100 maybe.
Above 100. Okay. Okay, last one before we end the session. So how much budget we shall allocate for SEO specialists to deliver the result? I mean, roughly, because I think because most of our audience are really in the SME micro entrepreneurs, so they are
Yes.
really looking at the number.
Yeah. I don't really familiar with the SEO services out there, because I understand that there are a lot of different packages. It depends on what kind of services that you need, because under SEO there's a lot more things. So maybe Anisha, you can add on this part, like how much usually as the package.
Okay, so I won't really be able to give you details on the cost, but yeah,
Yeah.
when it comes to hiring for SEO, there's as Ashley mentioned, different levels. So whether the person is only doing like the technical fixes, whether the person is helping you with your titles and your descriptions for all the pages on your website, or
Mm.
going further, then it goes to off-page SEO, where it's helping get backlinks for your site. So it gets quite complicated. So it depends on how far you're investing with your SEO as well.
Yeah. So guys, there's no like a number
A
here
fix.
we are talking about, but I guess you can you can check around, and depends on your budget. So you should evaluate yourself. Okay, the last, okay, that one was the last one, but this one, can we get copy of the presentation materials? I don't know. This one I have to ask the speakers, because this the property does not belong to me.
Yeah, I don't think I'm able to share the slides. Yeah, but you can always replay back the video and check out the slides if you want,
Yeah.
and
So
you can take a photo. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. What about you, Danisha? Are you gonna share? No, right?
Yeah, I'm able to share a PDF as a report. That should be fine.
Okay, so yes, Danisha can share the report. If there, we can you can comment in the email that we will send in the comment, Facebook comment we will send to you. But for Ashley, you have to replay again. Okay. Yep, I think so. That's all for today. From all the insights and points shared by our speakers, I hope for those who are watching this live streaming from 2 hours ago, I think you can understand and help to spread the knowledge if you kind of understand what's happening. Okay, so yes, and then we also have something from our. Yep, this one. Friday. Thank you, Danisha and Ashley. Yep. Okay,
Thank
guys.
you, guys.
Thank you for spending your time with SITEC this morning to share about Google Analytics and online traffic. I wish you guys all the best and stay safe and healthy. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks,
right.
everyone.
So,
Bye.
bye. Okay, so I'm gonna remove both of them from the screen first. So let me. Yep. In the comment section, I did pin one of our survey form. If you are interested, I need your help to fill up the survey form for our for us to make our program better in the future. Or I mean, in the survey form, you can talk about what's the topic that you want to learn, what you want to know. Okay. So let me flash to you what's gonna happen next in our e-commerce live streaming class. Next week on the. Okay, give me a second. And for more information about SITEC program, you can actually visit www.sitec.com.my. Okay, let's have a look at the one that I project. Okay, SITEC live streaming. Ni kecilkan gambar boleh. Okay, we have upcoming 16 June. We have EC301 social media marketing. I invited 2 ladies also that will become our speakers next week. So starting from next week, we're already in our next module, digital marketing. So social media marketing, yes, on 16 June, and then following with affiliate marketing is in BM. So next week is English, then week after that is in BM, and then we have EC303 Google marketing. And then in July, we have 3 classes: Google marketing, content marketing, and also content management and strategy is in BM. So please stay tuned with us. If anything, you can follow our Facebook page and have a look at what is most of our program is all free programs. Okay, until then, thanks for watching SITEC live session today. I hope you find something useful during this session today, and don't forget to like SITEC Facebook page and find out about our upcoming programs. And see you in the future. Assalamualaikum and bye-bye. Okay,